And welcome everybody to the SideQuest, a special next-gen edition of the show. Definitely using last-gen video cards and screens and headphones. All of us. Hey, we are the SideQuesting team that will be joining you tonight. I am Dolly Dimovsky. Joining me, as usual, the one, the only, the Double J.
Tis the Double J. The Double J.
Double J. Hello, JJ. Good to see you again, my friend.
It's great to be here.
And making a long-awaited return, the man in the darkness, in that sultry darkness. Actually, I kind of like that look. It is Corey, Seven of Rhyme, a.k.a. Butt, which I think is actually just the perfect name. Eyes on the prize. How's it going, Corey?
It's going well.
That's good,
It's
man.
going. Yeah.
We're all still alive. That's important. Whew, it's been,
For now.
For now, it's been a hell of a few weeks. I'm telling you. I mean, yeah, your numbers in your town or your city are shooting through the roof. So are ours over here in Michigan. It's just insane. It's all insane. Yeah, stay indoors if you can, folks. Wear a mask. Do carry out food. Support your local businesses. If you can get a carry out liquor at Corey's place, do it. But other than that, do your best. Avoid every other bar and restaurant unless it's the one that Corey owns. But yeah, it's stay indoors and play video games. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into the next gen stuff, because all of us have got some next gen talk, let's talk about anything else that we've been playing that's not next gen. Does anybody have anything they've been playing that's not next gen?
No, not that I can talk about.
Not that you can talk about. Oh, that's true. You got a review code. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Corey?
I just finished Yakuza 6.
Oh,
nice.
6.
Trying to get ready for 7.
Okay,
So.
I have not played a single Yakuza game. So,
Girl,
what did you?
they're insane.
I know.
They're so good. How have you not touched one?
I know. I'm dumb. That's literally what it is. Do you guys know my backlog? I mean, come on.
And they're short. Like if you
Okay.
ignore all the side stuff, which I wouldn't recommend because there's like a lot of charm to them, you can get them done real fast.
Oh, really?
Except
Okay.
for 5. 5 is just like obscenely long.
Do
But
you suggest I start with the very first one, or definitely not the remakes, right? Or the
start
remakes,
with
okay.
0.
Okay.
And
Zero.
then do
on-
Kiwami 2.
That's on
Okay,
Game
all right.
Pass. So that's like
And then the
Zero and
remasters.
Kiwami are on Game Pass. So
Okay.
you can just get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6. Tell me a little about 6.
Man, 6 was wild. Because like it's like the final Kiryu saga entry, so there's a lot of tying up of just like the arcs and stuff.
So they're making the show based off of Kiryu, right? Is that what the?
I'd assume so. I mean,
Okay.
I hope so. But
6 is the one with the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys in it, right? Where they
yeah, they're in 6
Oh, nice.
and in 2,
Okay.
or like the 2 remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, they look so out of place.
Love it.
It was intense. There were
Yeah.
like the Yakuza games are really good at just like leaving cliffhangers at the end of every chapter.
Okay.
So you're just like, what the fuck? I was going to go to bed, but now I need to keep playing for another 3 hours.
Awesome.
Yeah,
See,
that's good.
That's what I love about certain. No, I was gonna say that's what I love about certain types of games is that you're ready to like put it down. And you're like, okay, that's it. I'm done for the night. And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh man, but it's so good. I don't want to right now. And that's when you said that. I mean, that totally piqued my interest because like I'm and I'll get to what I've been playing in a bit here. But there's some games that are just kind of feel tedious, like you're going through the motions. And so it sounds like Yakuza is not.
I mean, it can be a little tedious.
Okay.
There's a lot of I don't know, like activities that you can do, and it can feel overwhelming.
Okay.
Especially like Zero. Zero has like an obscene amount of activities that you can do, like mini games and just weird, bizarre stuff. You can hang out with your friends or go on dates and stuff like that. But like I didn't have enough time to really do any of the side stuff in 6, so I just mainlined the story and
okay.
punched my way to victory.
I like that. Punch your way to victory. It's good. Okay, so
they just
Yakuza.
re-released that Streets of Rage special thing that they did, where like it was available for like a couple of days. And
Oh, really?
yeah, they just it's back on Steam for like a couple more days as like a special promotion. So it's like, yeah, that was a cute little Yakuza Street homage. Really, it was. Yeah, I liked it.
Awesome. Anything else, Corey?
Not really. I'm still playing Animal Crossing. At least
Sure.
like for maybe 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
Other than
I
that,
gotta get back into that. I gotta make that a part of my daily cadence, which is okay. Do you just kind of log in and do a couple of the kind of the daily quests and then clean up a little bit and call it a day?
I literally just I log in. I look to see if like Gullivar is there.
Oh, okay.
Red.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just collect mushrooms because it's mushroom season right now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I missed so much of the Halloween season. I think I only got I never got any recipes for the Halloween stuff. So I just that whole month was a catastrophe. Even the beginning of November was a catastrophe. So I'm like, I'm bummed out that I missed so much of it. But I've started collecting mushrooms, so at least I got that.
Yeah, and then other than that, it's just like gacha games and my friend got me back into Dragalia Lost.
Oh, okay.
Their 2-year anniversary, so
that's true.
I'm
now
it's
been around for so long. Yeah,
absolutely into gacha games now.
That and
are my jam.
what's the big one? The one that everybody's playing, the gacha game. Holy shit. Genshin Impact.
Genshin? Yeah.
Grand Blue.
Impact.
You mentioned Grand Blue,
yeah.
which is bigger than Genshin. But I haven't played a Grand Blue game in so freaking long either. Gosh, it's been like years since I played a Grand Blue game. I have to do that. All right, yeah, gotcha can get you. I can get sucked into some gotcha games for sure. I haven't been in a while. Only because I've been trying to avoid it. Because I know, and like Genshin Impact, everybody's still talking about Genshin Impact, even though with all the new consoles coming in. But I'm doing my best to avoid it because I know I will definitely get sucked in. I am waiting for it to come to Switch, and then when it does, I think that's when I'll be. That'll be my poison. So, all right, cool. Gotcha games. That's it. Anything else before we get into the next gen? Okay. Well, I've been playing some current gen stuff. One that will actually lead into some next gen stuff, some old gen as well. So I've been playing. The game that I was talking about that gets tedious is Octopath Traveler, and
you're still playing Octopath.
I'm at 97 hours in that game right now. I am in the last. So the way the game's set up, and I talked about this on every fucking episode because I'm an idiot. You have 4 chapters per each of these 8 characters, and then. And the chapters, they get progressed. There's like 4 levels of chapters, right? So the highest, most difficult level. Well, the way I've been playing this game, and I've broken the game because I have my 3 mains that are in every single, in every single team, and then I have whoever it is that I need to bring in to kind of close out that chapter, which makes it. I'm so overpowered that I blaze through everything because, like, my 3 mains, I haven't even started their 4th chapters yet for the 3 main guys, only because I don't have to yet. They're at like level 57 each of them, and it just literally it's like 2 swipes with the sword or a dagger, and I clear out enemies. So, anyways, it's tedious because it's so freaking repetitive. The stories are actually really cool because there are all these real personal stories for these characters. But I'm at the point where right now I'm just like skip. I don't care anymore. I just want to beat this game and get through it. Even though, like, you guys know, I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy VI fan, and this plays up. Obviously, the whole Final Fantasy VI aspect, but it doesn't quite connect the way. Nothing will charm me the way FF6 does. So I am going to complete it this week. I'm forcing myself to do 1.5 chapters per day, 2 chapters if I can, but definitely 1.5 chapters today. And honestly, when I get done with this podcast, instead of playing a next gen game, I'm gonna start the next chapter, the first of the 4s that I have to get through. So I'm not talking about this anymore. Except the next time I talk about this game will be me saying I fucking finished it. I'm on to something else. I got a review code for Raji, which is the It's an Indian development studio, and I think the game's on. I think it's on everything now, but I know it's on. I got the Switch code, and what a charming little game. I mean, kudos to the Indian studio. I think this was like their first real major release, right? They're an indie team, an Indian team that worked. And the story is really cool. It's about this this girl Raji who has to try to rescue her brother who's been kind of kidnapped by demons, and so all the all the gods are helping her. They're kind of showing her, guiding her how to get to how to kind of pick up some of the different skills and stuff. But I'm really only like an hour and a half in, but it's really based on this sort of combo battles. There's a lot of like combos in the fights, and then there's a lot of really cool kind of traversal and platforming that you're doing in this game, to the point where it feels like a mix of there's definitely a little bit of Uncharted in there because you're climbing a lot, you're jumping from ledge to ledge, the ledges are highlighted. A little bit of Tomb Raider, I kind of feel like that as well. But then the action elements are really kind of cool in that you can not only climb up posts, but you can actually use a post to attack enemies with. So you'll grab a post, you'll kind of do a little spin, attack some enemies, jump off the post, and then go into another air combo. It's kind of cool. So I'm digging it. Again, I'm only like an hour and a half in, but it's and it's not a long game. I think it's only like 3.5, 4 hours total. But kudos to them for putting it together. And it's got a really nice like art style to it too. So check out Raji. I'll definitely do a write up in a video combo type of thing for it. But it's not going to blow your socks off, but it's definitely it's definitely a really well put together. And if you're itching for something that's a little bit more, I don't want to say traditional, but a little bit more of the normal action adventure platforming type of stuff that's not forcing you to do a ton of thinking, then this seems like something that you could get into. And it's got these really nice little cutscenes too, using Indian traditional art. So there's that. And then I know there's another game in there anyways, but then also the first next-gen console. Actually, this sucker. You got yours there too, Jay? There you go. Corey, did you get one?
Didn't you order that last night, or did you pick it up?
I ordered it last night, and then I just drove over to Best Buy, and I had them throw it in my trunk. Same thing. I didn't have to get in my car, and they were like, guys, like, here you go. And then, of course, they're available. They're not sold out. There's tons of them still at Best Buy. Amazon still has them up. So pick one for $50. It's not a bad. It's just a cool little.
I was impressed with the presentation of the box.
Yeah, same here. It's got like this. It's a secondary box with a Mario scene, a slipcover scene on it, which I thought it was just really nice and charming. And
it's got like graphics under the flaps and everything. Yeah, it's just a nice. Yeah.
And I will say it was really nice because I got to slide, take it. All it was this was in here, and you kind of pull it out of this cardboard thing. And it felt like opening up an old NES game or, the DS, the first time you open up like the DS. It just felt different. There's no unboxing video. I should have done an unboxing. Maybe I'll pack this all back up and do another unboxing video because you've been seeing those photographs and videos of the Xbox Series X unboxings with it's this elaborate, beautiful storytelling process. This was like the most basic handheld unboxing, but it was refreshing in a weird, stupid way. Anyways, the audio on this thing, it's awesome. It's really surprisingly good. Like it's loud.
It is one speaker on the side.
Yeah, it's this dumb little speaker on the side, and it's so really loud. I've got to say, it also has. I like the sort of metallic feel of the. Of the.
No, it replicates the Game and Watch really well, like legit.
Yeah, it does.
Because I have one of the old ball ones.
Okay.
And it follows,
which is on here. Ball's on here.
Yeah, it follows the aesthetic really, really well.
And what I really like about it is this is the traditional Super Mario. It's the original Super Mario Brothers game, and it's not the Super Mario 35, which gives you floaty bounces. You can't double bounce off stuff. Yeah. This is you're playing the original Super Mario Brothers. So perfect if you're. And I hate to say a toilet run. Perfect. This is a cool thing to just kind of throw in your car and leave it in there, and you're stuck in stuck waiting for something, and you can just kind of in the drive-through and be like, I'm just gonna play Mario for a little bit.
and an actual legit D-pad, like an old
Yeah,
NES.
it's got the legit NES D-pad. It's just a nicely put together.
Yeah.
The A and B buttons are a tad bit like spongy. They're not like hard.
They're made out of rubber.
Plastic, like they're rubber. But
that's
you know,
that's
I think,
that's correct for a Game & Watch. So
yeah,
I
really
get it,
is.
but also I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I hope JJ, you and I have been like hoping and praying that they'll come out with a Game Boy Classic Mini. If this is kind of one of the first steps towards that, I'm okay with it. I'd love for them to put out like a green and silver or green and gold Zelda one later on, which would be if you have Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I reckon that's probably good. That after the success of this thing, if there's success, it seems like there will be for this price. I mean, that would be. I mean, you're literally just buying Mario Brothers 1 and 2 for $50 again. But it's got a surprisingly nice little, like the color screen is nice, and it's kind of cool how you can kind of see. It's a bright screen, so yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. Let's get into stop talking about old games. Let's get into new games, like the newest of the new, the hottest of the hot. The next generation of consoles. All right. We all got PlayStations.
Yeah, there'll be no Xbox talk.
There'll be no Xbox. No, I will definitely get.
Effort.
Yeah, not never. Not never, definitely. I'll definitely get an Xbox Series X at some point. Although people are kind of raving about the Series S too. Yeah, they're
once Forza is out, then my hand will be drawn.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I
think you and I are both. You and I, and I think Sam as well. Sam's a big Forza guy, so I think the three of us will be. Although I guess the updates to Horizon 4 are pretty awesome. So now I'm
even
dang
the updates to, like, even on a 1X Horizon 4 is a fucking beautiful, like, smooth game, but so I can just imagine it on like,
I asked around before we get into the PS5 stuff. First of all, I briefly mentioned earlier that whole kind of presentation thing. Microsoft knew what they were doing with the box, the whole unboxing thing, because all you saw on Tuesday was people posting the photos of the welcome to the next generation or to the future, whatever that little statement was, and people opening up and taking photos and videos. That was actually really cool to see. It's been kind of a cool week from that standpoint. Like, people are really in a good mood. The folks that were managing to get these consoles are in a good mood, and it's definitely been a bigger week, because the last time these consoles launched was like when you had the two consoles they were a week apart. Yeah. Right? I think back in 2013. But these happened during the same week, so it was a huge thing,
and like coming a week after the all of the election stuff, really.
Yeah. Finally, like, we needed something good to talk about. So unite the country. This is the first step into uniting the country. Unless you choose Xbox or PlayStation, then you're at war and a whole different reason. An
eternal war.
Yeah, a bigger war. Yeah, exactly.
A story of swords and souls eternally retold.
Exactly. So, so both consoles launching this week. Both of them for $499. And the Series S was $299, I think. Yeah. And then you had this Nintendo thing today for $50. Whatever. They're like, screw it, let's just throw this in there. I kind of polled a couple folks. So JJ, you and I are definitely gonna get a Series X. Corey, would you get one? Are you planning on it anytime soon, or?
Not anytime soon. I've been meaning to, like, I was originally going to get like an Xbox One or whatever.
Okay.
Back in the day when they did like those Final Fantasy 13 remasters.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just never did. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just do that with the Series X. But I'm in no rush.
Okay.
Or if, like, honestly, if Microsoft had announced that they were going to make a Lost Odyssey 2, I'd be there day one. I'd be like, all right, you know what, PlayStation who? I'm back.
You're back. We're back to Xbox land. I did ask around on Twitter and Discord, what their thoughts were. Our good friend Moblord at Moblord TV says he got the Series X. He loves it because it just works, becomes invisible. Everything is speedy, virtually silent. I've heard a lot of people talking about how incredibly silent this Series X is. It blends in, no extra fancy junk. Wish he had more storage. Good old Mike J. Wall says, happy with the Series X so far. Super easy to set up. Queued up games to download from my phone. And I love being able to. That's so nice. I think you can do it with the PS5 now, too.
Yeah.
Everything is super snappy. Played Forza Horizon 4, and it looks incredible. I don't really like racing games. Love flipping through games with Game Pass. Good at the James B. Jones says, the Xbox fast, go burr, PS5 big. He says, also, the Xbox is impressively fast. And while its launch lineup isn't earth-shattering, it breathes new life into older games. Titles like Witcher 3 and Red Dead 2 load so much faster now that it actually increases my desire to play them. So
the loading on, like, if you try to boot up Red Dead, like, especially now that we're in this stage, it's like, oh god, it's always been a long load. But then you see it's like now like a minute and 20 seconds to get from start to in game. That's a game changer for a game like that. Yeah,
it really is. It's and I started. So let's get right into the PS5 because we're all talking about that. I started by I've been selling my old PS5 games, all the ones that come as part of that Gold Pass thing, that kind of introductory PlayStation Plus collection thing that I had unopened. I had Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition unopened. I had like 3 other games unopened. I'm like, what am I doing? Typical Dolly, right? Buys them. Sometimes I buy them at launch and I don't touch them.
You've been playing Octopath for like 4.5 years. Haven't touched Final Fantasy 15.
Yep, exactly. And I'll play Final Fantasy 15 because that does seem like totally my style of RPG. But so I just went ahead and started like downloading a bunch of those older games, and popping in. I did the transfer thing, and yes, do the LAN transfer. Don't do it Wi-Fi. Even with my ripping Wi-Fi network in the house, it said 99 plus hours to transfer stuff over, and I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding. So I canceled it after 6 hours. I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you guys saw me tweeting about it and posting about it. I'm like, fuck this. This is horrible. I don't have 99 hours to transfer God of War over when I can re-download it quicker. So I canceled it, deleted all the stuff off the PS5, and then plugged the landline in, and it went from the 99 plus hours to like 67 minutes. So this was like 1:30 last night, 1:45, and I'm like, I'm gonna doze off for a little bit, and then I'll wake up, and then I'll see at what point it is. So I fell asleep, close to 2, and then woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something, and it was done. So the landline worked. I had a super long landline that I had bought. I think this Cat 7, I think is what it is. For like $15 or something. So, anyways, transferred a bunch of the games over, and I started playing some of those just to see what the difference was. Games like the original Spider-Man, which I never finished, but I loved. Popped the disc in, loaded up, and it feels like a next-gen game. Just the original Spider-Man playing off the PS4 disc feels like a next-gen game because of how much faster and cleaner it is. And going from the regular HD to 4K, the HDR, the colors pop differently. Of course, I'm playing on a 4K TV, but my God, I've been missing out the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X generation, the half step. These look great. So I played that, and then I just kind of popped in some of those older games to make sure they work, and they work. Oh my God, do they work. So yeah. Have you tried any older games, or have you gone right into some of the newer stuff?
No, nothing older yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into the newer stuff then. So Corey, I know you've been plowing through a game, a few of them actually. You talked about Godfall.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Godfall. This is like we were joking around. This is like the Order 1886 and Rise, Son of Rome of this launch.
Yeah, it kind of does feel a little bit like that. Okay. It's fun. I mean, I can't really say much about it because I can't get past the first mission.
Okay.
The first time I got stuck in a chest as I was trying to open it and I couldn't move, so I had to restart the mission. The second time it hard crashed my PS5.
Oh
And
geez.
like I was just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like, because then it didn't turn back on for maybe like 5 minutes or so. And I was just like, oh god, no, not like this.
Not like this.
So
Day
I'm gonna-
one, just fucking destroy you.
I'm gonna give it a break. Maybe let them patch some stuff out. But like playing it though, it's so fast. Goddamn! Like
Oh god, it's
those
insane.
PS5 loading times
right?
are nuts. And I
Mhm.
came off of PS4 Pro,
Okay.
and like just the jumping quality is still so high.
Yeah.
It's just like God of War, honestly. Like it's multiplayer.
I'm
God
okay
of
with
War.
that. I'm okay with that.
There's some weird quirks that I don't quite understand, but I feel like it's because they kind of have like tankier controls. Like
Okay.
when you run in game, you start sprinting and you start like going faster.
Mhm.
But if you turn just like the slightest bit too much, you just stop running altogether.
Okay.
So you have to kind
Okay.
of like glide your character like they're a boat.
Huh.
It's weird.
Reminds me a little,
but-
sounds a little bit like the original Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. But the combat is it's really fun, and there is like they didn't lie when they said there was a lot of loot because that game just showers you with loot.
Okay.
So
That's good.
and that's pretty much the reason why I'm playing it.
You know, it's that reward. Once you get that little taste of reward, I think it really helps with loot games. So, you know, there's some where you don't get loot for like you can go like 25, 30 minutes without getting anything good, which
Yeah.
sucks. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Awesome. So you've been playing. What else? What else have you been playing?
I played through Astrobot, which
Okay.
was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for a demo for a controller, which is nuts in and of itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I even
Okay.
had like I had my boyfriend use it, and he doesn't play video games, but I'm like, here, like press these buttons or like, wiggle the controller around, because there's like a part where the little bots jump into the controller,
Mhm.
and then you can like rattle it around, and he's looking at it and like twisting it. He's just like, what are they doing in there?
It's like what Nintendo was trying to do but never did.
Yeah, that HD rumble.
The
If you
HD
can count,
rumble. Yeah.
count the ice cubes.
Count the ice cubes.
is.
2. It's always fucking 2.
It is really impressive though. Like
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm shocked at how impressive the DualSense is.
Yeah, I didn't. You hear about it, but you're like, that's cool, but like, is it really that cool? And then you actually have it do the haptic stuff and the triggers, and you're like, oh shit, that's actually really fucking cool.
Mhm.
Right?
It's the best feeling PlayStation controller because I actually like there's like that texture on the
Yeah.
on the back on the
kinda-
hand part. I kind of like that.
I kind of like the way the handles kind of have like a little hook like cut out of
Yeah.
them at the bottom.
I mentioned the same thing. I was thinking the same thing too. I like that because I put my pinkies under there, or whatever other aspects. I'll put something like,
yeah.
or they'll sit on my palms as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really nice controller. I like where the location of the buttons up here. The PlayStation home button gets lost because it's the same color as this, and I accidentally keep clicking the microphone.
The microphone
light,
button, yeah.
thinking that it's because I'm kind of blind looking at stuff, and my finger naturally goes down there, so I keep clicking that, and I'm like, why am I? Oh, the microphone keeps asking me. But then you have the big, the touchpad up here, which it's cool that they carried it over from the PS4, but you do kind of get lost a little bit design wise. Like I do wish they would have given just a slight different texture or something to this guy. Otherwise, it looks just like a plate on top of it instead of an actual a usable touch surface. But it's still kind of neat. But I do think this is the best. It's the best, definitely the best PlayStation controller. My only gripe, I mentioned the button for the home, but it's these little edges that you feel on here. I'm sorry, like right along the, because they're trying to copy what the PS5 console's doing, and
Yeah.
I've been sitting there and like my fingernail just like naturally goes to every little edge and just starts like picking at it. Especially the one on the bottom underneath here. Like I'll have my thumbs as I'm waiting for something to load up, and I'll kind of start like tapping my thumbs on there, and I have a feeling that's going to get real grimy. I don't have nasty thumbnails or anything. It's just it feels like it's going to end up getting grimy and get dust in there. But I mean, either way, I really like this controller.
I hate you now because I had never noticed that. And now that's all I'm going to think about.
That's all you're going to think of. I mean, you don't notice it until you're like, oh crap, I was doing that and I didn't realize I was doing that, but now I'm freaking doing that. So yeah.
It was weird. It was weird to have to read an instruction manual to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do with that stand.
Oh yeah, I didn't know how to. I looked at the stand. I'm like, I don't know. Here's the weird thing about that stand. I didn't put the stand on there. I should have, because I kept putting the PS5 disc upside down because I have the thing vertically right now. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb like that. I have the thing vertically right now, and I'm so used to vertically. A game console, you're looking at the shiny side of the disc when you put it in from the front, So I'm like, okay, this is like what it normally feels like that I should do. And the design of the PS5, that feels like that the hump should be on top, right? Because just the shape of it. And so I kept putting the disc in wrong, and it's like, I thought I was loading in Miles Morales, and it wasn't showing up. I'm like, this thing's been like loading it. I hear the disc spinning, which was loud. It's a loud disc. I'm hearing this thing spin, and I'm like, it's doing something. And finally, I found the eject button. Another thing they didn't learn from the PS4: make that eject button bigger. Like make those, or make them a slightly different color, because I have to like get in real close to look at which one of those they are.
Maybe just don't stack them directly on top of one another.
Yeah, exactly. Put one like the eject one like right next to the slot. That could be the easy way to do it. But and then once I realized that, I felt like an absolute idiot. I'm like, I've been doing it for like 3 games. Thought my disk drive was busted up, but no, I was literally putting it upside down. But yeah,
it's this whole like, you've got to take this little like pot out if you're going to do it vertically, and then there's like a bolt hidden underneath the stand itself that you have to take out, and then it's like you got to line it up right and twist it, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I didn't even buy. I'm like, you know what? This is too much work for me. I'm just gonna let it be off center, and I could care if I put it on the side. It's just gonna stay on the side. I might build a stand later on that it just rests on. But
special pedestal for your PlayStation 5.
I might need one because this thing's fucking huge.
I had to go out and buy a shelf.
There you go. Yep.
Luckily for me, I have plenty of space, so it doesn't really affect me too much.
Well, the place we keep the TV on our wall, as I'm like doing this, and we keep on the wall at a very specific height. We have just a really like small, tiny entertainment center, because we have everything in the wall except for like the Comcast box at the bottom. So you have a tiny little entertainment center that's maybe like a foot off the ground. Well, from the top of that to the bottom of the TV is PlayStation 5. I'll take a photo of it. It fills up the entire height of this thing. Rob says, what games are you guys excited for during this next generation? We'll get into that in just a second, Rob. We'll talk about what we're actually playing right now. But yeah, it's fucking huge. This is ginormous, and I know people are going to have issues trying to get this thing put somewhere. But
it's also like non-Euclidean geometry at times. It's like it's got points and spires and bumps, and it's. I
mean, I'm looking at mine right now, and it's like level with where the bottom of my TV starts, and it like I have a 65-inch, and it goes up a little bit over halfway.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed that too.
And I'm just this is insane.
Yep, it's crazy. It's like half the height of my TV as well. Yeah, it's bonkers. It's so freaking huge. But you know that the Slim, whenever they come up with a PS5 Slim, that thing's going to be svelte as fuck. That thing will be nice. I got to say, that's probably going to be a super hot, like it'll be half the size of this thing, or a third of the size of this thing.
One of my favorite PlayStation designs ever is still that PlayStation 2 Slim. Just
God, yeah.
It's the smallest, thinnest, craziest thing, and it's so.
I've
it's
got to
so
buy one.
perfect.
I never owned one, but looking back now, I'm like, I just want to fucking buy one for the hell of it, just so I can have
So
one
good.
because that was
So
such a
good.
nice little con. See,
good revision.
they should re-release that. They did I'm looking at the stupid original PlayStation Classic Mini, which didn't sell at all because the visuals were not good. The games they chose. Give me a PS2 Classic Mini.
You don't even have to shrink it too much more.
You don't have to shrink it too much, because that thing would be awesome to have. Yeah. But okay, so Godfall. I haven't started playing Astrobot yet, but I know Tyler, new writer Tyler, said he's having a great time. Yeah. He took the day off. I also took the day off today. I know a lot of folks did. He says he's nearly finished with Astrobot, and he's got a few hours into Miles as well. He says the adaptive triggers are super impressive. Games look beautiful. He set Valhalla aside for those first couple of games, but he did load it up to see how it runs and was again very impressed. And we'll get into the UI in a second. But game-wise, so Astrobot seems like a cool, fun little game, and it sort of feels like Sony's new little mascot because they've actually had this is like the third or fourth Astrobot game.
Yeah, I like the Astrobot. It's good.
Yep. Punctified says he just cleared Miles Morales. Very impressed with the PS5 so far. That's the game after playing the original Spider-Man, popping it in there to see what it's like, and switching to Miles Morales. Miles Morales is fucking a beautiful game. I'm swearing right now because I'm in a good mood. It is a beautiful, beautiful game, and it's so nice.
I'm so glad it takes place during Christmas because it also changes
yes.
the aesthetic of the city
really
that
does.
you were probably just recently in.
Yep.
Just enough to make it feel fresh enough, like with the snow and the lights and all that stuff.
And the fact
the change in sort of
look so great.
What's that?
And the change of music, like the change of the background music and stuff to be more Miles Morales themed really helps make it feel like its own thing. It's really nice.
What'd you say, Corey?
Nice.
I was going to say that the snow looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
It's like when you swing down low through the streets and there's just like all the Christmas lights and the snow on the ground. And it's such a good feel.
You know, for someone who was loving the heat of this summer, seeing something different besides just a barren waste, because in our neighborhood, everything was still kind of being built. Seeing something different like snow with lights, the mood makes me feel a little better right now to see Christmas lights, and snow. It just feels like it's something that's, although, pandemic wise, not so great, but at least from a mood standpoint, that feels kind of cool. So, it really is. It's and the opening scene is really cool because the game says, "Hey, did you complete the other Marvel Spider-Man game? If you didn't, you can rewatch. You can watch this full recap or just literally pick up from that point if you don't want any spoilers."
Also, as a massive just Spider-Man fan in general, it's very fun story-wise because it's like they're trying to misdirect me and stuff. I can tell. It's like you meet the Finn Mason, and I'm like, I know who that is in the comics, and that's not you. So, but I can't. Yeah, it's
apparently there's like a post-credit scene, so there's something there too. So. Of course, because it is a Marvel project.
And I mean, like, you still haven't set up We have the setup for Spider-Man 2 from the last game that sets up spoilers, the Venom stuff. So who knows what the.
I'm really excited to get into more of Miles Morales here. I actually think it is a great launch title. First, and kudos to Sony for really giving you so many free games as launch titles. And obviously Miles Morales is not a free game, but that's the only one you have to buy because you get Astrobot for free. You get Bugsnax for free if you're a PlayStation Plus member. It's Miles Morales is a full game, Rob, and it takes place in the same city, but they've done a ton of changes to that. So it's a full game all in one. It's on PS4 as well if you don't have a PS5. And it still looks great on the PS4. Definitely, you want to get PS5 because it's the new generation. But kudos to Sony for giving you so many like high quality games.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm curious to see how some of these actually look on the PS5. I've only dialed in a couple of them. But Bugsnax, I started playing Bugsnax, and real quirky. Have you guys started playing that at all? It's quirky
No, I
as hell.
downloaded it, but
Okay. What do you think, JJ? As you're
No, I
taking
said
a
no.
swig. Oh, you haven't?
I
Okay.
said I haven't touched it yet. No.
Okay. Yes, I started playing it. There's definitely a little bit of a Viva Pinata-ish feel to just kind of like quirkiness and kind of
Yeah.
stupid and being silly, just like Young Horses did with Octodad. Another Octo game, not Octopath, Octodad. So it definitely carries over some of that feel, and I think that, you know, I think that's great to give you just a real good variety for launch titles, you know, because you got, especially for like family friendly, the PS5 Astrobot, totally family friendly game. Bugsnax, totally family friendly and silly. Miles Morales, totally family friendly and has a great, you know, positive message on there.
Yeah.
And of course, you still have Godfall. You have, you know, Call of Duty came out today. A bunch of other games that are definitely more adult and mature. But Bugsnax is silly. Totally worth the pickup. I don't know how long the game is. I'm hearing it's not super long, which I'm totally fine with. I don't need to have these super long experiences yet because personally, I still got to play these old games. But they're
like
great
Morales.
showpieces.
Yeah, it's like Miles Morales. It's short too. That's fine with me right now.
Totally fine right now because, you know, you're going to be splitting up your time as a showcase with a showcase game like Miles Morales. And then you're going to want to jump into, you know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Call of Duty, which is just, you know, hours and hours and hours. And
I said you're going to have to delete all of your Miles Morales stuff to get Call of Duty on there. But.
I did have to delete my two of my Call of Duty games as they were transferring over. I got the notification that said Modern Warfare cannot fit on this. Oh, I'm like, oh crap, delete. WW2 cannot fit on this. I'm like, damn it, delete that too. And I was left with like, I have like 40 gigs left to fill up with whatever game I put on there, but which is kind of a bummer because space-wise, it's not a terabyte. It says 825, but it's not quite 825. I don't really know when
and it seems like PS4 stuff is using drive space in a weird way too.
Yeah.
So.
Which is why I want to get through the PS4 stuff as quick as possible so that I can, you know, have space for the PS5 stuff. And I'm really hopeful that, you know, a bigger, you know, I'm going to need like a 3 terabyte drive, a 3 terabyte SSD for this thing because it literally does suck down games quite a bit. You can't play from an external drive for the PS5 games, only PS4 games. So Rob says Valhalla looked disappointing. Final Fantasy 16 seems interesting.
Hell yeah!
I'm hearing good shit about Valhalla. Like it's one of the better Assassin's Creed games.
It sounds like it's fundamentally not an Assassin's Creed game, which I think is the right choice.
I think so. Until they remake the original Assassin's Creed game and make it more like Odyssey or Origins. I think going away from that style and going, you know, Valhalla being different. I think there's some cool like town building stuff there. I think that's seems like a cool direction to go in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 16 as soon as I get through Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy, and we've been talking about it in the chat in the Discord because they just released some more info on the game. But and I love that it goes back to fantasy. Or it seems to go back to fantasy, which is something that you haven't seen from a Final Fantasy game since like 12, I think was the last one. I mean, I know 14 sort of is as well, but the last few mainline games have been very tech-based from, you know, 10 and, you know, the only ones 9 and 12 were fantasy. And then both those games are some of the more highly regarded ones. So, although, Corey, I know you and I liked Final Fantasy 13, and no one can take that away from us. It's okay.
Hey, 13 rules. I don't 13 rules.
Yeah, 13 rules. Final Fantasy 16 looks good. So, what other PS5 games are you guys playing or messing around with or looking forward to?
I grabbed Dirt 5.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that. Yeah. You said it looked cool.
It's great. It looks beautiful. It runs. You get your choice of like visuals or performance. You know, like it runs like at 120 frames per second in like a performance mode. It's gorgeous.
Nice,
But
nice,
it's
nice.
arcadey. It's not a sim game. It's not like Dirt Rally or something. It's just very arcadey racing game, and it's fun. If you've ever played the Dirt games, it's more of the same. Inexplicably, it has like Troy Baker and Nolan North VO in it,
because you got to put them into every game.
Put them
right
into
now.
everything. The adaptive trigger stuff is absolutely fantastic.
I can't wait.
It's cool to be able because so
game.
like the 1X had the impulse triggers where you could kind of feel a little rumble in there, but these ones, like when you're like braking and you can feel the brake like kind of jumping in your finger, and like the gas is sort of like resisting against you a little bit, and you have to work at it and making sharp turns and stuff. It changes the way you race in a lot of ways. Kind of helps a lot too if you know how to race a car. It can help out a little bit. I'll be interested to see what they do with Gran Turismo with that.
Yeah, supposedly 2021. That's what we're doing. We'll get into that too.
I have zero. As much as I love Gran Turismo, and it is definitely my shit, I definitely have no faith in a Gran Turismo games coming out in the next year.
So you got Dirt,
Miles Morales.
And
I got the deluxe edition. So
you got the original
remastered version of Spider-Man's in there that I'll check out sooner or later. So
what about Corey? Did you pick up anything else besides Godfall and Miles?
I picked up the Pathless.
Okay, I saw you talking about that.
And I'm like so stoked to play that.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, like I think it's the only game that I downloaded that has like, well, I guess Bugsnax is on PS4 also. But
it's true.
Like it's so I was going to go into this later, but on the PS app on your phone, when you select the PS5 section, it still lists PS4 versions next to them.
Oh, really?
So I almost downloaded the PS4 version of like certain games. I'm just like,
I downloaded.
Why is it even like that?
Yeah, I accidentally downloaded the PS4 version of No Man's Sky.
Oh,
they don't make it particularly clear right away because I wanted Dirt 5. I got the disc version of the PS5.
I'm checking it out right now.
So I said, well, I'll get the disc version of Dirt 5. I couldn't find the PS5 version, so I got the PS4 version that does the free upgrade. And they don't make it super clear that
I don't own No Man's Sky. Damn it.
So like there's like a little box that you have to like click on to claim it, and then you claim it, and then like so it doesn't appear in your games list even though you already own it. You have to sort of claim it and then you can download it. And it's like, look at this, it's kind of not the best way of going. You think it would just like it's like, hey, this is a PS4 game, do you just want to download the PS5 version instead? But
so there's PS4. It says PS4 No Man's Sky, and then right underneath you have to like click, and it says No Man's Sky PS4 and PS5.
yeah. So
but I got the Pathless. Haven't played it yet, but I'm real stoked on it. I'm just kind of like yesterday I mostly spent with Astrobot and Godfall, and today I'm mostly spending it with Miles. So I'll probably check out the Pathless tomorrow because it's been on my watch list for a while.
It does feel like there's a lot of games right now for both next-gen consoles. There are a ton of games. The backwards compatibility and forwards compatibility, whatever, is pretty awesome for this gen. I mean, obviously the Xbox really knows what they're doing with that because you can go all the way back to the original Xbox console and play games. But Sony's done a really good job. I know there are a few games. Like I went to re-download a bunch of games that I owned, and it wouldn't. It said you can't download this game, you can't download that. Most of it was like demos though, so I could care less. But there were a couple in there that I thought, oh, that's a bummer, I can't download that, and it was like a PS VR thing, and I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. So I have to. I put my request in for the camera adapter for the PSVR, so I'll wait for whenever they get back to me on that thing, which will be months, I'm sure. But Yeah, so I'm a little bummed out. I have to keep the PS4 around just for the PSVR to kind of finish up because my daughter loves playing some of those PSVR games. So, and most of them were on there, like the Voltron game worked and Job Simulator and all that kind of stuff was listed. So that's good. But there were a couple that.
And they're putting that adapter out with the Iron Man game for the PS5, the VR PS5 release. So it's going to be like the expansion pack for Donkey Kong 64 or something, where it's like you buy it, you get that adapting cable too. So
that's cool.
That's like later in this month or something. So, yeah.
Excellent. I don't think I own the Iron Man game.
Me neither. I played the demo, and that was
that's what won't carry over. Anyways, the demo won't carry over.
Yeah, I meant to go back to it, but it's just like then everything happened.
Sure,
like in video games and the world in general, and it's like whatever. I'm
not. So yeah, there's so much to play. The one thing I don't love about the PS5, I mean, I like a lot about the PS5, I gotta say, is that user interface, and I found myself clicking. The PS4 had it nice because everything was listed at the top. So you click the home button, and at the very top, it was like that. What do they call it? The crossbar or whatever that was.
Cross media bar.
Cross media bar, which is a variation of the PS3 versions. But you get to the top, and they only have a few things listed up there. But then you have to click that button again, the PlayStation button, to actually get the stuff that you're looking for. Like for me, I was trying to find the download info because trying to figure out how to get that stuff. Notifications, I'm like, where the heck are my I'm like just moving along the top of the screen. I'm like, where are the notifications at? And then realized, no, I have to hit this stupid button again to bring the cards up, which so far they've been useless for me. It's an idea, but nothing has been useful for yet. But and then you get that kind of weird UI at the bottom. Which I would love all that to just be in one spot, because the crappy thing is I went to go check on the uploads, and if I hit cancel to view the uploads, it would just take me back to the home screen without that bar at the bottom. So I had to push the button again to get back to that little area, and I'm like, this is like definitely some user interface faux pas are happening there. So I'm hopeful they kind of learn from these first 2-3 months of user testing.
I also am disappointed that there's no new sounds. It's all the same sound effects for the PS4,
really is.
which is kind of a bummer. I don't know. I look forward to that kind of stuff. It's like when the Switch came out and there was no background music for anything.
No background music. It was literally, and it still is, the most boring thing.
I like that there's a section for themes, but the only choices are black and white.
Yeah. It's easy money, Nintendo. I would have thrown money at you to buy some cool themes.
They did some cool shit on the 3DS with themes.
Mm-hmm. 3DS was the best in terms of themes because you could freaking tell stories with the that gacha game they had on there. And you could buy background themes, and you could do all kinds of cool stuff. The stickers. They really went all out. Rest in peace, 3DS, by the way. Man, I miss that thing. My daughter stole ours. I can't find it. She was still playing Miitopia at last check.
Oh my god, Miitopia.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I love the UI. I'm so into it.
Oh, really?
It's
okay.
Snappy.
Right. It is definitely
snappy.
snappy.
The PS4 UI was just garbage. It was so slow all the time.
It was slow. Yep.
It would take you 10 minutes to load up your friend's list.
I got so mad when they moved the media stuff into its own separate thing where you have to go to movies, and then you have to open up a secondary thing, and it's not snappy. It's an extra 30 seconds of loading just so I can boot up YouTube. I
do love how fast it is to go through these things on the PS5. It's so fast,
Once you get more stuff on the home screen, it feels like you start to understand what the UI is going for. So, because I've got a lot more stuff because stuff's downloaded. I just haven't played any of it, but it's once it's filled out, you're like, oh, I see now.
Corey, you were gonna hit something. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like how integrated the PS Store is, PSN is to everything. You could just highlight a game and then go down and it'll list the DLC in like a little bubble right next to it, and it's like super easy. You don't have to like wait for a page to load again.
Yeah.
Like you could just click it and you're there. It's downloading. And like one of my favorite things about the OS is that you don't have to wait for things to install anymore. Like I don't know if it's baked into the download time, but like it just downloads and then it's like, okay, you can play it, and that's it.
Like, oh shit, cool. Yeah, that's another thing I noticed. Yep. Yeah. Play while it's downloading. Yeah. And the network just seems like faster. I don't know what they did in their back end, but it does seem faster to download stuff.
Yeah.
They also made everything like it was never easy to like see what PlayStation Plus deals and freebies existed on the PlayStation 4. Sure. Like you would go to the PlayStation Plus section and it was mostly just there to like sell you subscriptions to PlayStation Plus and maybe show you what like is 90% off with your subscription or something right now. But yeah,
I do wish
now it's just like here it is.
I do hope that down the line you'll be able to kind of set preferences or pin certain things to the homepage, because like the PSN thing, when I want to get to my library of games, you click on that button at the top of the screen and it takes you to all the games you own. And I would rather have it just go to all the games that are already installed on my PS5, you know, because it's like, oh, I have to actually hit the button, okay, go to all games I own, and slide it over to all the games. And it's a simple little thing, but it's an extra step. It's one tiny little extra step that's like, oh crap, it's this weird annoyance that I have, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to do that, you know. And if there's enough of those types of little steps along the way, they can add up in really annoying users. So I mean, I personally look at that kind of stuff and I'm like, I'd love to make some tweaks here and there. But you know, I think, yeah, Corey, I agree with you. It's such a snappy UI. I mean, it's so fast. Everything flows so nicely, and it's no longer just those the boring squares and boxes that everybody was doing. They actually have like some life to some of the cards and things that pop up. Like they took into consideration some of the font stuff that there were issues with on previous PS4 in the PSN store if you went through there. You know, I'm interested to get into understanding more of the cards, and it's day one, it's day two, whatever.
I would definitely say like check out Astrobot, because I feel like they put the cards to better use. Like I'm looking at the cards right now in Miles Morales, and it doesn't really
do much.
Do as much as like Astrobot did, because I remember the whole like UI reveal thing, and they're like, oh, you can watch videos to if you're stuck or something. And I did that in Astrobot. I was trying to look for a secret or something, and I literally just went down. It showed me the level that I was on, and it knew by like where I was in the level what the closest secret was.
Wow.
And all I did was just click it, and it instantly started a clip of like where I was, and just like showed me where to go to find it. And I'm like, that is the coolest fucking thing in the world.
That's awesome. I think that is something that for accessibility, for folks that are having a hard time in some games, I think that's going to go a long way. And I even like I like when companies do that, because even Nintendo sort of does it with where the game kind of just plays by itself, and then you hit a button and you kind of take over that in a couple of their games. Sony doing this, I think, is great, because you can actually, you know, this is where I'm at in the game, and I can hop in, and only if I really want to see the you know, the hint or something that I'm missing.
And so you can still like do like a picture-in-picture thing, so you can like close out of the cards, have the video running, and then follow along with it while you're playing the game. And it's stuff like that that's really, really neat. And there's a lot of other cool accessibility features that they added, like the text to chat that you can do, and I guess it even shows up in like multiplayer games. As like, I don't know if it's like on-screen subtitles or something when you're playing, or just like chat messages.
I can't wait to get one of those headsets, by the way, just for that spatial audio.
Oh yeah. It's
oh, you got it. Nice.
I did. Yeah. It's comfortable. My friend said it looks like sperm. And I mean, it sounds great.
Cool.
And the 3D audio, I mean, I don't really know which games have it or like utilize it, But like Miles sounded great. Godfall sounded great.
Nice.
There is a weird, like, I don't know, like a cathedral effect, I guess, where it just sounds like everyone's talking in like an echo chamber. But then you just kind of get used to it, and it sounds normal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a great upgrade from the PS4 versions.
Awesome. So the PS5, we're all excited. We all got it. What games are you guys looking forward to this year? I think it was a good question from Rob. For 2021 and in the future. I mean, I'm obviously Final Fantasy 16. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I mean, like Horizon, obviously.
Horizon, yeah.
I mean, Gran Turismo and 2021. Quote, end
I mean,
quote.
we're supposedly getting Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, Horizon Zero Dawn, or Horizon was it Forbidden West, and God of War all in 2021.
Yeah.
That's
Ghostwire. I guess I'm excited for
Ghostwire,
Ghostwire.
Tokyo, and then what, Deathloop. Deathloop is, I think it's coming as well.
That's a really good.
Yeah, that's true. Either way, that's a really good collection of games for the year. I mean, it lets you know at least what's coming in 2021 and what you can prepare for. So that's a good collection. Cool, excellent. So PS5, there we go. Only a couple days, only 24 hours with it, but we're all excited, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about it as things go along. Sackboy came out as well, right? I heard Sackboy is getting some pretty good feedback as well. So
I'm definitely gonna get it, but I was just like, I kind of want something else other than Sackboy now.
Sure, definitely. So let's get into a little bit of the news. There has been a little bit of news this week. I'm just going to go through just a couple of them. We didn't talk about it last week because it had just happened, but Jeff Grubb appreciation thread, Mass Effect Legendary Edition was announced. Jeff has been talking about this thing since like April, maybe even March. And to be honest, the internet has been talking about the Mass Effect Trilogy remake for a long time. It's been the rumors out there. I don't know if we willed it into existence, which a lot of times that seems to be what happens. But we can now tell that there's a Mass Effect Trilogy collection coming out with all the DLC, all the single player DLC in spring 2021. I don't think they gave an actual date, but sometime in spring.
I mean, I'll be interested to see what that all looks like, but also I could just download all of those games on Game Pass right now.
Totally. Did they fix stuff, or are they literally just taking all these and just saying, "Oh, we added one extra pixel"?
I mean, sure. Let's just make those elevator rides snappy as hell. I guess
it's really fast. They're teleporters now. They're not elevator rides.
It's Star Trek.
But they also, BioWare also did announce that they are working on another Mass Effect game. So.
Yeah, it's like no shit.
Yeah,
we know you're working on another.
It's an Anthem style. I'm just gonna be like Anthem. I'm just kidding. So yeah, there's that. There's Sam & Max Save the World Remastered is coming to Switch and PC, which I'm kind of excited about that.
I like Sam & Max.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess they're remaking all three of the games, the original games. So that's the company. I think December is coming out, but it's a bunch of former Telltale devs that kind of basically bought that license, bought the IP, so that they can remaster these games. So good for them. This one is a good one, near and dear to our hearts. AEW announced AEW games and even debuted three new projects. Yeah. JJ, you want to talk about this one?
4 if you include the T-shirt.
If you include the T-shirt, yeah.
Yeah, AEW, the hot new wrestling organization, got everyone's been dying for video games out of them, and so they finally announced their game stuff. So they got their like mainline game, which is a sort of arcadey looking game with where they dug up the old director from
No Mercy
and Def Jam Vendetta.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He worked on that.
It's funny with that stuff because it's like, yeah, he's the director of those two games, but he's not the creator of those two games because No Mercy existed in like well before, and Virtual Pro Wrestling and
Mhm.
stuff. So he was just the director of the most popular one. So it's
Yeah.
not going to be No Mercy. It's just going to have the guy that was responsible the sort of direction of No Mercy.
They kept citing it. They're like, "You guys like No Mercy, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're making a game.
Yeah, we're making it's being made by Ukes, who was the team that was making the WWE games until 2K booted them off, and
the quality has gone through the roof.
Yeah, it tanked. Like Ukes has been known, they were tired of the WWE license.
Yeah,
so they were actually working on their own wrestling game on their own, like in the background.
Oh, that's right.
Unlicensed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume this just sort of dovetailed into that.
Okay.
But again, it is still just Ukes, because the company that made the No Mercy, AKI,
okay.
they don't exist anymore in the way that we know them. They're renamed, and they're the company that makes like the Style Savvy games now.
Huh.
That's what they've moved on to. So you're not. So
Nice.
they're not making wrestling games anymore. They're making these sort of they're making these sort of lifestyle games now instead. So you're not going to get them. So So I'll be visually, it's not that great. It looks like that old WWE All Stars game that came out a few years ago, where everyone's kind of cartoony and like blown
extra
out,
muscles that don't exist,
extra muscly, or like they also announced a phone game, 2 phone games.
Yep.
One of them's a GM mode, where it's just like you being the booker of a company. You just wrestlers and tell them what to do, what kind of matches and stuff.
Give me an idle tap game for AEW. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And so I grew up playing a lot of these sort of general manager games. There's a lot of PC ones and stuff that existed.
Football Manager, there's a lot of cool ones like that.
And there was always some free, like in the heyday of WWF versus WCW, there was some really good free ones where you could just sort of like create your own fantasy version of these companies and book them. No visuals. It was all text based and everything, but it was fine. And so a phone version of that with real wrestlers is probably be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of more interested in that than a legitimate full blown wrestling game. I would kind of prefer because Fire Pro Wrestling still exists, and that's a great game.
Yeah, that's
probably it's the best wrestling game, and it's got the New Japan Pro Wrestling license, so it's whatever.
So a couple of those guys are in AEW.
Yeah. So like Kenny Omega is going to be in all over the place. And they also announced the casino game because AEW's whole aesthetic. Well, AEW's whole aesthetic is casino stuff, it's all in, all out, full gear. It's just like everything has
double or nothing
and stuff. Like they have and Cody is the co-founder of the organization. It's like a cigar chomping, Southern guy.
Typical,
So he has that sort of thing going for him. So it makes sense in one way, but I don't know what the game is. They didn't show any gameplay.
They just had like a video. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be like that. Remember when Apple had that
the poker one,
the poker game, and there was like that celebrity FMV poker game for PC back in the day that had
the Steam one. They also wasn't there one on Steam?
Oh there was
Team Fortress
and Tycho from Penny Arcade and GLaDOS and shit. Yeah,
maybe it'll be who knows? Yeah.
But I want it to be like an FMV game, like the one that had Jonathan Frakes in it. And shit
sweet.
FMV videos of AEW wrestlers harassing you as you're taking too long to play, blackjack or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, their first 3 games, so we'll see what they do with it.
That's more games than WWE puts out. So.
That's true. Speaking of Dirt 5, the developers of Dirt 5, Codemasters, were just gobbled up by Take-Two, which makes the 2K wrestling games. So there you go. Take-Two I think the deal is supposed to be completed at the beginning of 2021 sometime. That's one thing that Take-Two doesn't have really is any type of racing franchise, any real racing franchise. So this is something they were quite literally getting it for some of the car stuff, which I think is good for them.
I love Codemasters. There's never been a time where you see the Codemasters. It's like, this could be a hit or a miss. Because everything's kind of roughly the same. I don't think
the old Colin McRae games were awesome from Code.
Yeah, the old Colin McRae and Grid.
Grid was great. And now they do Dirt Rally. and the F1 games. So they're kind of managing those kind
And
of two or
they were
three.
huge back in like the 80s on like the
Yeah,
ZX
yeah.
Spectrum and
Yep.
stuff with like Dizzy. They created the Dizzy
Yep.
franchise with
the Disney,
with like
right.
the European listeners that I'm certain we have are very excited to hear Dizzy finally mentioned on the
Couple more little news bites. There's not a ton, but there's a Neo 2 complete edition that's coming out, and an upgraded version coming to PS5 and next gen consoles. So, Corey, I think you're bobbing your head a little bit that you could kind of be interested in that. So that's good.
I love them. I love Neo.
Cool. I've always heard good things about the Neo series. It's just, again, yet another series that I'll never have time to get into. And I think the last little bit of news that I had was the situation that took place at the Ubisoft Montreal offices.
God, no, I don't know what happened in the end with that. I don't know. Yeah. I just saw the headline break out, and
so the only detail. So for those that don't know, there was apparently the news kind of broke that there was a hostage situation taking place at the Ubisoft headquarters in Ubisoft Montreal. That, I guess, from the more I read, it wasn't as kind of the day unfolded. It wasn't necessarily that. It was a burglary, and then it went from a burglary to the latest thing I heard. And again, we're not confirmed by any of this kind of stuff until the news finally breaks. Yeah. That it was a SWAT. It was somebody swatted them, and that's what that was the last I had heard. So if that's the case, that is just abso-freaking-lutely horrible. Because people can get hurt and that kind of stuff, but whatever it is, just kind of hoping for the safety of everybody involved.
What would Ubisoft have been responsible for to get swatted right now? Like, because usually you expect that kind of bullshit when like done something to make somebody angry, like you know, and they started like DDoS PSN or something because they didn't like some of the business practices or something. Like, what did Ubisoft do to even did they make a female character playable in Assassin's Creed and now some fan is angry? What happened?
The only Ubisoft statement was, and this is from Ubisoft Montreal, they said, "We want to salute the courage and composure our team showed today. Our focus remains on ensuring their health and well-being. We'd also like to thank the SPVM, the Montreal Task Force, for their quick and professional response, helping to bring the situation under control. Extremely relieved this was resolved without incident. We'd like to thank you all for your support and kind words." So we're still trying to figure out what exactly happened, but
sure we'll never find out. I'm sure it's just kind of get lost in the news cycle, and then it'll be like in 6 months you could be like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. Google it, and all you're going to get is the headline that it happened with no resolution.
Definitely. It sounds like it was good. It sounds like it sounds like there wasn't a major incident. I didn't say good. Sounds like the Friday the 13th didn't end up as horrible as it could have, so that's good news. Still, I'm sure it was definitely a scary incident over there, but yeah. With that, I think that's it. There's everybody's playing games. I'm ready to go back and play some more games.
Yeah.
Gents, thank you for joining the show again. Always a lot of fun to have you guys on here. Great to hear your perspectives, and it's I'm excited. It's the next gen. We're here. It's no longer the next gen. It's the current gen. So there we go. That's it. We did it. We made it. We can retire the show and the podcast and the website. We hit our peak, definitely. All right. You can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting on Twitter, sidequesting on YouTube, and then sidequesting TV on Twitch. The podcast is all over the place. Please rate, review, subscribe. I mean, if you're listening to this, somebody's listening to this, just leave us a silly little comment on any one of those podcast apps that you use. Any service you use. We're on everything from like Amazon to Apple to Google to everything. Just leave us comments because it definitely helps. You can find me individually at Dolly Domofsky in a bunch of places. JJ, where can we find you?
Twitter, _double_J, and on the internet, it's DisneyCompendium.com.
You guys just had Tangled.
Let's get Tangled, baby. We're heading towards the finish line. That's movie 50, and there's 50. I don't know. Who knows when I get to the last one? There's 50. It could be 59 by the time.
Cool. With all the delays, it could be the last Disney movie of all time. And Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at onlyfans.com/ no,
I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know.
my Twitter's 7 of Rhyme. But
Excellent.
don't follow me.
Don't
Please
follow
just don't perceive me. I don't exist. Just
he doesn't. Just like
forget
Sam.
I was here.
Sam's the same way. Sam will block his face and he'll be like, I'm not anywhere. I'm not on Twitter. Just go to SideQuesting and just read stuff, I guess, or listen to the podcast. That's it. Well, thank you guys so much. It's always a joy, and we will talk to you soon. We'll talk to all of our listeners. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy playing games and on the shiny new consoles if you're lucky to get one. If not, sorry.
You can play Mario again.
You can play Mario again because there are those available. We'll see you all in the next episode of The Side Quest. Bye-bye.